So does this come out of our share, or is this gonna be reimbursed after we get it?
No,
This comes out of our share?
yeah.
That's when we have to redo it because we didn't know about it when we made the budget out. So this, we have to add this in.
Yeah, because we asked them.
Okay.
And then I talked to Tony Manson, the auditor, and he helped me balance all that out so that we balance out our water and sewer also. So that's why it looks like it's more than the 50,000 plus the 50,000 because of engineering costs and also too, like we had that accident of the backup down at
Behind River Bean.
yeah, behind River Bean. So in case other emergencies come up, we have that extra in our funds. Now, ICRIMP is only paying like 1,200 or, I would say about a third of the cost of it. So,
They wouldn't pay for the pumping.
no, they wouldn't pay for
They would pay for
the,
the jetting.
yeah, and I gotta give them that Taylor gravel. They'll reimburse for that too because it's the rock. I think it's on top, isn't it?
Yeah.
What they said, the damage. So, but since all our claims for ICRIMP were processed last year, we paid that 1,000, so whatever we get reimbursed, they're not gonna deduct another 1,000 this year, because those were considered last year's. So, anything in the future though, we'll have to pay the $1,000 deductible again.
So it doesn't say, so we don't have to make a motion or anything, we're just waiting for any public comment?
We have to have public comment if anybody wants to say anything.
Motion then.
Do we need, I think we just move on if there's no public comment. Right?
Well, I make the motion to accept the minutes from December 8th, 2020.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Passes. And there's a one with
Bills.
the bills.
Did anybody see, I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary.
No, I don't.
I move to approve the bills.
I'll second.
All in favor? Passes.
I think you're for the school, Jessica?
Yes.
All
Would
right.
you like me to share?
Sure.
Okay. So our preschool program is located in the elementary school. We recently received some grant funding to continue our preschool and hopefully expand in the future. And one of the requirements was to become a licensed provider. Basically, right now, they don't have anything for a school checklist since we're hosted in the school, so we have to be basically treated as a daycare provider through all the licensing steps. So what the last little bit, we had a heck of a time getting the fire inspection done because a fire inspection, the checklist is for a daycare. And that's not us, but we fall into those lines to keep those grant funds. We're in our 4th year of a preschool program, and this is the first year we've had to do it because of this certain grant funding. So what we need from the City of Juliaetta is, what we're asking you is, we're curious to know what the compliance is in having a provider in the city, and if we can get a letter from you saying that, yes, we are in compliance, or we don't have any compliance, and that we are free to continue going on getting a state license.
So you need us to write a letter so you can.
So we can submit it to the licensing and become a licensed program.
Because we don't have anything in our, that says anything about having a preschool, so we could just write and say that we don't have any.
Well, I looked at the code, I didn't see anything, but I ran it by Ken, and you can see his reply in the paperwork that I gave you. That basically says, we need to look into it to make sure that, the city is not saying something that they shouldn't. So basically, you're just saying it's okay to have the attorney look into this for this reason and incur those expenses.
Well, I move that we have the attorney look at this, just to make sure that the city everything's good, so when you apply for your license or whatever, that they don't say, well, wait a minute.
So we can't move forward with licensing until we have a letter from you saying that we are in compliance.
Right, and we want to make sure that the letter is stated is correct, whether we do or do not, so we'll just have to have the attorney check that out, and then as soon as he gets back to us.
Okay, and I can draft up a letter for you to make it easy for you. It's like a 1 sentence with a signature on it, so I can make it easy for you to get that done once you've checked in with the attorney to make sure we're in compliance. It's pretty much like if a daycare were to be in here, if you had any codes that they needed to follow, we're treated the same. So.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, that you write it up at school, and then, because your rules and regulations and all, because it's very important that it's worded right.
Right. Yes. This is our last step that we need to get this license.
Do we have a second?
I second what you say.
We have a motion second to approve the letter.
Well, to approve the attorney to find out what we need to have the letter say.
So if can I ask a question? If the attorney says that we're good to go, do we have to wait for another meeting to get a letter, or can we move forward with that letter?
I would say as long as he's all right with.
Yeah, I say as long as he's okay with it.
attorneys
If the attorney is okay with it, then we can just move ahead.
Just move ahead, yeah.
No one's holding you back another month or something.
Right, that's.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, if he's good with it, and we can approve it.
Yeah, and the mayor can sign it if it needs mayor signature, whatever.
Okay, wonderful.
Is that good with everybody down there?
So what's the motion then?
The motion is that we approve for the attorney to figure out what the letter needs to say. And if it's all good, then just go ahead and move forward, and the mayor can sign it if it needs his signature.
Okay.
Second?
I'll second that.
Second. All in favor? Passes. Okay, bye. I've been, looking things over and everything there too. And the best way to do that, instead of changing addresses and street names and all, when you start doing that, you start getting your people that has to have this stuff changed. They get in a bind because of their address will change, and then they have to go through all the hoops to get everything back in line with their addresses and everything. And so I think the best way to do is to go up to the ag class. Surely there's some of these boys that, or maybe the girls even, probably the girls could probably do it better. But they could make a signs to put at the bottom when you come off of Hallett and you turn and go up the hill. You know, I have signs at my places.
Yeah.
But the numbers.
Well, here's the confusion. We had been dispatched to the intersection of Hallett and Lynn. Well, there's two of them. And I'm running around at midnight waking people up, banging on their doors and ringing doorbells because there was no house numbers to work with.
Well, that's something else that needs to be done, is that everyone have their house numbers.
They do,
on the
they do.
books.
That's
But
the
when the call
people,
came in, there wasn't a
it's
house
the
number.
people that called it in did not provide a house number. Everybody has their house numbers. I've checked.
But that doesn't mean that you can go changing addresses because a person didn't receive
But-
something.
Here's my thing. When you look at Main Street, that block of Main Street, it's a 100 series. State Street, it's a 100 series. Hallett, it's a 100 series. I happen to live at the corner of Lynn and CC Drive currently. And that's a 300 series of house numbers that we already have a 300 block of Lynn Avenue.
And what is your house number?
412.
Look at the back paper that he gave.
It's right here.
Yeah, I have a map there.
Well, I kind of looked for your number and I couldn't see it.
It's on the garage.
I can tell you, speaking from working with addresses every day, that you are not going to get this changed. And if you do, it's gonna take years for it to take effect.
Right.
Yeah.
Because currently, the addresses that where Clifford used to live, that were Route 1, Box 20, they have been that way 15, 16 years, and we still receive mail in the
Route
state
1
like
block.
that.
15.
Right.
I say the best way to do it is we put up signs at the bottom of the hill and at your corner, up at your corner.
Okay.
And make sure that it's drawn out so that you have, on the sign, you draw the street up here in the middle of it, and then you put the house numbers like this. And then you go up this side and you put the house numbers. And you do it on all three corners, and that way.
Well, just like the bottom of CC Drive currently has, CC Drive has that, where it has addresses on
But
it.
it has,
That's because it's a private lane.
Right.
yeah.
The unfortunate thing is that particular night when that call came through to you, the responding party didn't have an address.
Yep.
However, when we get a fire call for a structure fire or an
That's
EMS
all it
call,
is.
we're going to have an address where we're going to be responding to. So that's a totally different situation.
I think
But,
that's the way to solve that problem.
Yeah.
Just put up the signs there. And then that way, when you make the turn, when you come to the first one, then you know where it's all at. You go up this way, this is where you then the houses are in this area. And if you come this way, across, and you go up the hill, here's the sign saying this house number and this house number. And, well, you've got 3 houses up there. And for Sturman's, I guess you can go to his, whichever end of the house you want to go to. But other than that, I think that's the best way to solve, because we're Wendy works with the post office.
Yeah.
She goes through a lot of hoops.
Yeah, you're not gonna get it changed, there's no way.
Yeah, we've been trying to change addresses in Lewiston, because we always have like
Yeah.
funky addresses, and we make the new guys go try and find them,
Well,
and
the
they
thing
drive
is-
around for an hour, and then can never find
It's
it.
not a city change anyway, it's a county thing.
No,
In the
the county
city.
tells
In
me
the
it's
city.
a city thing.
It is.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
talked
yeah,
to
no,
the-
you're right there.
talked to
But
the
you're
county.
still not gonna change it.
Okay.
I will,
If this doesn't solve our confusion, I'll be back with it.
Well, you think,
I think the signs will help.
yeah.
It doesn't help his issue of Hallett and Lynn Drive, though, if
No.
there's
Well, and like I
an
said,
issue
the main
there.
issue is the fact that you had a call that came in that didn't have an address. So
So I have a
if
question.
you have any of those other calls, you're gonna have an address.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Why do this one?
I've only lived here like 30 years. that is Lynn Drive, and then it turns into.
No,
Lynn.
the county's map is wrong. The sign says Lynn Avenue there at the first intersection, and Lynn Avenue coming up the hill and up the gravel park by my house.
It's a circle.
Right, but I was just confused because I've never seen Lynn
The
Drive
county,
before.
the county provided me this map.
Okay, so it's Lynn all the way around.
All the
and
way
then it comes
around,
down
and all the way down.
All the way down the state.
to State, and then it's, what is it, like A Street or something?
88th Street, yeah.
But then you have Main and Old Main Street, and when if you wanna gripe about mail, I mean, people can't find mine because we're Old Main, and
You
they
don't,
think
you
it's
don't get any
mail.
bills that way.
Okay,
I wish.
here's a suggestion, because we had that sign grant for
That's what I was just gonna
2,000.
ask, can we use that?
We only spent the 5,800 that the Line City for the speed ones. So we have more than enough money, which is a little over 8,000, that we can rename these, not rename them, but get new signs for the streets and make sure that maybe they're big enough and.
Well, and then maybe at the bottom, is there a way to make a sign that says Lynn Avenue, these addresses, because that's what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
Instead of having the high school do it, just have an official.
Yeah.
Because it's reflected, it can be seen.
Right.
Yeah,
that-
we looked
that-
at signs, just to have street signs and stuff like that, you know, like 300 to 500 arrow going this way, you know, you know.
Well, I think we're gonna have to actually put, because we have
Sure you did in my.
300 here and the 300 coming down, so we'd have to put like, you know, whatever ones are up here,
Yeah,
and then the other ones down here, not just like 3 to 5, because that's the
yeah,
confusion.
we would have more than enough money for, because Dick had the girls count signs, and we kind of looked online to see how much each sign would cost. We have pretty much more than enough to get signs for the whole entire town area of.
We have to spend that money the way we listed it in
Yeah.
the grant application.
Yeah.
But it did include some street
Signs.
name signs, street name signs.
I'll check into that
And
one.
so forth, so we'll just have to, but we do have our own
Yeah,
separate sign budget too,
yeah, we have a sign budget.
that we have every year, so.
Well, I move that we have the signs made that have the numbers and try that, and hopefully that makes it a little easier. And if it doesn't, I guess we can
I'll second that.
revisit something.
When it happens again, bring it back.
1,500.
If it happens once, it'll happen again.
I'm tracking it.
Yes.
500
What do you have? Justin?
plus.
Already to me? Our tour was then canceled today for the wastewater plant for the second time. I'm disappointed because it was our funding guy and but we're gonna reschedule it. So that's still just kind of moving forward, but not, lightning speed, but we're moving forward with that, so.
Snail speed.
Snail speed, yeah. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else right at the moment.
Bonnie and I applied for some CARES Act money. That was due, what was it, December 11th, last month. So Bonnie got it started, I finished it up. And today we got an email saying that our pre-approval for what we were looking to get was approved, which was sort of a blanket thing and not exactly what I was expecting. I thought maybe they would approve some stuff and not approve others. So I guess we were approved for everything that we asked for, which included personal protection equipment, cleaning stuff,
Tablets.
oh, there was all kinds of stuff. There were tablets for...
Stuff for the community library, stuff for the park, the air dryers, the touchless sink and toilet, I think, or whatever you had put for the park bathrooms.
some computer equipments and upgrades here at City Hall, so that would allow Bonnie and I to work remotely if we needed to. So really lots of good stuff, so that's pretty exciting. So we'll look into that in the next 2 days. We also received our radar speed signs, the first 2 signs that we bought with our sign grant money. So I'll contact ITD to find out how we go about installing those, because they'll be on the highway.
I have been trying.
Oh, have you already talked to them about it?
No, I cannot get a hold of anybody in traffic.
Okay, I'll see.
That's who I have to speak with, and I've left messages and they won't contact me back. I tried to call today and it was like they were closed. There's nobody at the front desk.
They require permits and everything. You can't do anything on the
Yeah.
highway without their say-so. So we'll keep trying that, and, but they're here, and hopefully it'll be super cool, and we'll get them out there, and were we thinking either end of town still?
One on each end.
We talked about by the coffee shop here, you know, coming around from the store,
Mhm.
because the store, it's kind of a dead zone down there, and if they're still doing anything over 35 by the time they come around that corner, then they should know for sure. And then I was looking down here, and there really isn't any good place to put it except for on a 4x4. And we've got one there that we used to have the 35-mile-an-hour speed limit signs, but we had to take those down.
Oh, the 25-mile-an-hour one.
Or was it? Yeah, it was.
So the 35 changes down there on the other side of the store,
Yeah.
and that's what we're wanting the sign to stop it, is for people to blink at 35, right? You wanting it to blink at 35?
We're
To
just
slow down,
wanting
but
it
that's
to
where
blink
it should be.
somewhere, just
It should be close to the sign,
to get some attention.
shouldn't it?
I'm sure they will have
I wouldn't put
something
it by
to
the
say
store,
about
'cause-
where they
Well,
want
it's
it.
changes on the other side of the store,
Well,
not right out the store.
on that side.
Down
of
there
the
it's
street.
40, down before the store is 40, I know, because I
There's
got
no
stopped
40
one
down
time.
there.
There's
No,
no 40, it goes from 50,
It
goes from
goes
50, goes from 50 to
35 to 50.
Coming this way, it's 50,
50 to
Yeah.
35,
then hits 35 with the old,
yeah.
Right, it goes that way, 35 to 50 until you get city limits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
There
55
is
to
no
50 to
40.
35,
yeah, just
Well-
on the other side of the fire station, it hits 50.
yeah.
I think we should just wait and see what IDT says.
And then around the corner where the
We're just
old
gonna have to do
bill
what they
office
say.
is where it
Yeah.
says 35. Oh, that's where it says 35.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's no 40.
And the cop always sits right in our
Oh, my
driveway
turn?
down there.
Bailey's coming down on the 28th. Probably gonna, make my adjustments for last year and straighten out a few things. I have a couple questions for her too, but usually she's the one that comes down. And Tony, should be doing the, audit report to you guys in February. But remember, because the water plant project is done, and because it was federally funded, we have to do a single audit. So he is having that done. And it looks really good, as far as I know. He's sent some emails, Wendy's answered some of the questions, I've given him some things that I have. Yeah. So it looked, but I just wanted to let you know that that's like a separate single audit by itself, that plant part, so. And that's all I have.
There's a new hydrant at the water plant, from our federal funding, or from the leftover from our funding.
That's from the Army Corps funding?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry?
From the Army Corps funding?
Yeah. And, yeah, it's real close to the same spot as the other one, however, it's
Far enough for the.
far enough away so you can get in there with the wrench
No,
and,
no.
and have your safeties on, so that's really great. And, Dick and I were talking, and we were both under the assumption that they were gonna start hauling rock in to fill in that spot where the eddy, whenever the water gets high. And we're still waiting on that, so.
Wasn't that what we were talking about, whether it was gonna be big rock or those ecology blocks?
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
big
they're
rock.
going to be.
It's just big rock.
Okay.
And then fill the rock, but they're gonna be big ones on the back of the trailer, every day, and place those, and then, you know, probably little smaller rocks inside that, so, I would imagine any day, I keep waiting for them. And 'tis the season for, pretty hard to make water, so we're spending quite a bit of time doing that, but, besides that, the fiber optic guys tore up our grass that we just got planted.
So who's doing this, the fiber optic?
This is Spectrum.
Spectrum yeah, it's the place out of Moscow.
Yeah.
So TDS already did all of theirs, and then Spectrum is coming in.
Now Spectrum's in here.
Yeah,
And overheads and,
yeah, they ruined my view.
yeah.
They've done it, they're just screwing up everything.
I
They put a wire right in front, that
Yeah.
the power company took down,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
and so it was beautiful, and then
Yeah.
they brought their little wire in.
know. And they're really low.
Why, we can't live on the hill like you. They're really low.
They are very low.
They
They're
are low.
very low. I was concerned that, yeah.
I noticed that.
There has to be a height,
That they're gonna tear
in
it
the
out.
city have an ordinance, the state has.
It's gotta be at least 14 feet, doesn't it?
Yeah, 14 feet, but some of that doesn't look like it's 14 feet.
No, it doesn't, so.
Yeah, I was a little concerned when they strung the last one by my house. I was like, I don't see that lasting very long.
Yeah. But no, that's all I got, I believe.
I don't think we have any.
Well, I move to go into executive session pursuant to Idaho Code 745-206 subsection 1.